Alright, good afternoon and welcome to Master Talker online class. So this is the continuation of trigonometry. We'll be talking about Pythagoras Theorem and sine and cosine rule. Now for Pythagoras Theorem, if you have a right angle triangle, it must be a right angle triangle. And I have A, B and C. This is small a, small b and small c. So Pythagoras Theorem said that you must start from hypotenuse. So hypotenuse squared is equal to anywhere you like start. Opposite squared plus adjacent squared. Okay, so which can be the same as hypotenuse squared is equal to adjacent squared plus what? Opposite squared. Please always start with hypotenuse. Okay, which means what? C squared is equal to what? A squared plus B squared. So now SOHCAHTOA and Pythagoras Theorem. Okay, we use SOHCAHTOA and Pythagoras Theorem only when it's a right angle triangle. If the triangle is not right angle, please don't use SOHCAHTOA or Pythagoras Theorem. That is what brought about the sine rule and the cosine rule. Okay, so if I have a triangle like this, that is not a right angle triangle. Okay, this is A, B and C. Small a, small b and small c. Now for sine rule, look at how to know sine rule. Sine rule simply says the sine of big A all over the small a, the one facing it, is equal to this angle all over the one facing it is equal to sine the other angle. Sine the other angle all over the one facing it is equal to sine the last angle all over the one facing it. Okay, we cannot use the three of them once. You can use this and this, or you use this and this, or you use this and this. Okay, so that is for sine rule. The question is now, when do you use sine rule? When to use sine rule? Now, number one, we use sine rule when two sides and one angle opposite one of the sides is given. Okay, if two sides and an angle facing one of the sides are given. So if I am given side A and B and maybe angle C, I cannot use sine rule because this angle is not facing any of the two given. So you only use sine rule when two sides and one angle is given. That angle given must be facing one of the two sides they gave you. That is when to use sine rule. So number two, now we have only two conditions to use sine rule. So if two angles and one side are given or is given. Okay, so if they gave you two angles, automatically they've given you the third one. So if they give you any side, no problem. If they give you any side, you now get the other angle that must be facing it, because you must have an angle facing each of the sides, something like that. So if they give you two angles and one side, automatically it means they've given you the three angles, because you can use sum of angles in the triangle to get the remaining angle. Are you getting it? So that is that. So cosine rule. Cosine rule. Now cosine rule has two parts: the angle part and the sine and the side part. So let's talk about the sides part first. The side, for the sides. Now if you want to get side A, watch me. Side A squared is equal to, now start from the remaining one, B squared plus C squared minus 2 the same B the same C, then cos that A. Anywhere you start from, that is where you are ending. If you start with A, you must end with the angle. If you start with B, you must end with the angle. If you start with C, you must end with the angle. So let's do that. Let me start with B now. B squared should be equal to, I'll go to the other ones, which is what? A squared plus C squared minus 2 the same A the same C, then cos what? That B. Anywhere I start from is where I'm ending. Okay, for C squared, what do you think? T squared should be what? you now start from the remaining 2, which is what? A squared plus B squared minus 2 the same A, the same B, then cos what? Cos that C. Are you getting it? So that is for sides. Then for angle, the same thing. Anywhere you start from is where you are ending in a way. So if I have cos A, I want to find angle A. I will say cos A is equal to, I'm not starting with A again, I will not start with B. B squared plus C squared minus A squared. This is the only place that A will come in. Minus A squared all over 2 the same B, the same C. As simple as that. Watch for cos B now. Cos B is equal to what? I will not start from B, I will start from what? A squared plus C squared minus B squared. This is where B will now come in. All over 2 the same A, the same C. Then for cos C should be equal to what? A squared plus B squared minus what? C squared. All over what? 2 the same A, the same B. Okay, that is that. So the question now is, when do you use cosine rule?
Sorry about that.
When to use cosine rule? Okay, when do you use cosine rule? Number 1, we use cosine rule when 2 sides and an angle in between the 2 sides are given. So if 2 sides and an angle in between the 2 sides are given. So if you have 2 sides given and an angle in between them, if you have these 2 sides and this one in between them given, then you use cosine rule. If you have these 2 sides and one angle in between them, use cosine rule. Okay, that is number 1. Number 2. Okay, number 2 is if 3 sides are given without any angle. If 3 sides are given without any angle. So if 3 sides are given without any angle, then you can use a cosine rule. So please note these 2 things: when to use sine rule and when to use cosine rule. So now let us take some questions for you to understand what we are doing. Okay. Okay, example. They gave us a triangle like this. They say that here is x and here is 100, here is 8 and here is 5. Okay, so this is capital X, capital Y, capital Z. Okay, they said find X, capital Y and capital Z. Okay, so these are the 3 places they say we should find. Now if you look at this very well, they gave us 2 sides and one angle in between the 2 sides. So what do you think we should use? Let me use a special angle 135. So what do you think we are going to use here? We are going to use cosine rule, because cosine rule said if 2 sides and one angle in between is given, we can use that. So let me find x. If you are finding this one, x squared, it should be equal to what? You now start from the other side. It should be equal to what? 5 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 the same 5, the same 8, then cos that one facing it, cos 135. Okay, so this is equal to what? X squared is equal to what? 25 plus 64 minus 2 times 5, 10. 10 times 8 is 80. 80 bracket. Cos 45 is something as saying cast, C-A-S-T, and 135 is second quadrant. So it's something as saying minus cos 180 minus 135. I hope you understood how I got this. I want to take it back to first quadrant, okay? And it was originally in second quadrant, and only sign is positive in second quadrant. That's what brought about this minus. So x squared is equal to this plus this is 9 and 8, 89. So I have 89 my plus 80 cos I think 45. I hope you are getting that, because minus minus is plus. So my x squared is equal to what? 89 plus 80 bracket cos 45 is what? Root 2 over 2. So my answer is now what? X squared is equal to what? 80 plus what? 40 root what? 2. So x is now the square root of 80 plus 40 root 2. Okay, so but if you don't want to follow all these processes that I did, if you don't follow all these processes, just get what cos 45 will give you in decimal place and then put it. Okay, so let me just do it without following all these processes. Let us just get it. So this is s squared is equal to 25 plus 64 minus 80 bracket sine cos 45 must give us a negative answer. So let us check. Cos 45 cos 135 cos 135. Okay, so it gave us minus 0.7071. So I'm having x squared is equal to this plus this is giving us 9 and 8, 89 plus, because minus plus is minus. So let me times it. Let me times it by 8. So I have 56. So I'm having that x squared is equal to 56.5685. So so let me add this thing to 89 to it. 89. So I'm having 145.5685. So my x become what? The square root of 145.5685. So therefore my x is equal to square root of 145.5685. Okay, so I'm having 12. I'm having 12.0652. So okay, so that is my x. You see, it's very, very simple. So the next thing they say we should find is any of the angles. I can now use sine rule to find any of the angles. Okay, I can use sine rule. If I use sine rule, I'm going to say sine z all over what is facing it. If I want to find z first, all over 8 that is facing it is equal to what? Sine, the one I've got to, sine 135 all over the number that is facing, which is what? 12.0652. So cross multiply to have that what? Sine z will be equal to what? 8 times sine 135 divided by 12.0652. So sine z is equal to, okay, so 8 times sine 135, then divided by 12.0652. So I'm having sine z is equal to 0.4689. So my z is now what? The sine inverse of 0.4689. So my z is equal to, so let's get the sine inverse of that. Sine inverse of 0.4689. So I'm having 27.9. So approximately, let me say 28 degrees. That is my z. So if your z is 28 degrees, we know that sum of angle in a triangle is 180. So I will say x plus y plus z is equal to 180, which is what? Sum of angles in a what? triangle. That is my reason. So I will say that what? My x is what? Capital letter X. So I'm having 135 plus 28. Sorry, plus y plus 28 is equal to what? 180. So my y is now what? 180 minus 135 minus 28. So what do I have now? 180 minus 135 minus 28. So I'm having 17 degrees. So that is that. So I've gotten my y, capital letter Y, please. So you see that? Very, very simple. So I can clean the board. Let's take two more examples, then we are good to go. Two more examples, then we are good to go. Okay. So I have they gave us a triangle, and they said that here is 20, here is 120, here is 10. This is x, y, z. They say we should find x and y. Okay, so they say find big X, small x, and small y. Okay, so solution. Now if you look at this, they gave us two angles and one side, and I told you if two angles and one side are given, that you can use a cosine rule. So let's find the remaining side, like the remaining angle. I can tell them that x plus y plus z is equal to 180, which is what? Sum of angles in a triangle. So therefore my x plus 20 plus 120 is equal to 180. So my x is now what? 180 minus 120 minus 20. So what do you have? 40 degrees. Okay, so my x is now 40 degrees. So I can now find my x and y. So to find my x and y, I can use cosine rule that said sine 120. You find two sides, that two angle and the side facing it, that you can use. Sine 120 all over 10 is equal to what? Sine 40 all over x that I'm looking for, if I want to look for x. But if I want to look for y, I will say sine what? 20 all over y. So cross multiply to have that what? X is equal to 10 times sine 40 divided by what? Sine 120. So your x is equal to what? So I'm having 10 times sine 40, then divided by sine 120. So I'm having 7.4223. Okay, so you have gotten your x. So for y, I will say sine the same 120 all over 10 facing it is equal to what? Sine 20 all over y. So if I cross multiply, I'm having that y is equal to what? This time this 10 sine 20 divided by what? Sine 120. So my y is equal to what? 10 sine 20 divided by sine 120. So I'm having 3.9493. Okay, so that is that. So let's take the last question, then we are good to go. Okay, the last question here. Okay, so the last question we are going to take here is okay, we have this. X, theta, 13, 12. They say find x and theta. Now, if you look at this, this is a right angle triangle. So I don't have any business with sine and cosine rule. So the business I have is what? Pythagoras theorem and what is it called? SOHCAHTOA. So using Pythagoras to find here, whenever two sides are given, is many one side, you can use Pythagoras. Pythagoras said start from hypotenuse. 13 squared is equal to what? X squared plus 12 squared. So 169 is equal to what? X squared plus 144. So this one cross here. 169 minus 144 is equal to x squared. So x squared is equal to 25. So x is now what? The square root of 25, which is what? 5. I've gotten x to be 5. As simple as that. Now to get your angle, okay, you can use these two sides given. This is the opposite of the angle and hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse is sine. If I say sine theta is equal to opposite 12 over hypotenuse 13. So my theta will now be what? The sine inverse of what? 12 over 13. So my theta is equal to. So to get this, first of all, press 12 divided by 13. Then sine inverse of that answer. Okay, so you get your answer. So do that and we are okay with that. So the next thing we are going to talk about is okay, we'll talk about angle of elevation and depression in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. God bless you.